S&S Worldwide is a very diverse roller coaster manufacturer. They are most well known for their pneumatic launch coasters that have some of the fastest accelerations on the planet, but they also offer fourth dimension coasters and Loco coasters with beyond vertical drops. At one point, they even offered wood coasters. This manufacturer has dabbled in a bit of everything, so in this video, I will rank the top 15 S&S coasters I have personally experienced. Before starting the list, I need to note that I have not been to China, so there are some notable rides that will be missing from this list. This includes Dinoconda China Dinosaurs Park, which is the newest fourth dimension coaster to be built. This also includes 4 powerful launch coasters, including the trio at the Happy Valley parks. I also have not been on any of the Loco coasters overseas, but those layouts are nearly identical to Steel Hawg, so I suspect they would have played similarly had I experienced them. I also never experienced their 2 most notable ride removals in the United States. I saw Hypersonic XLC at King's Dominion in person, but it broke before I could ride it. And then I didn't make it to the Wisconsin Dells before Timber Falls removed the Avalanche wood coaster. I always heard that was the company's best wood coaster. I also want to give a dishonorable mention to Sequoia Magic Loop at Gardaland. The prototype S&S Screamin' Squirrel was an extremely slow and awkward ride. It had hang time in droves, but it somehow managed to be boring. Lastly, I have reviews for several of the coasters already published, including every ride in the top 6. Number 15, Hellcat at Clementon Park. This coaster barely squeaked onto the list, mainly by default. The only thing below it is the aforementioned Sequoia Magic Loop. This wood coaster angers me. The layout has so much potential. Those who experienced it opening year said the ride had some phenomenal airtime. However, the coaster is a train wreck nowadays. The first drop is severely trimmed, killing most of the ride's speed and airtime. But this is done for mercy. Most seats will beat you up. My back row ride a few years ago is among the worst rides I've had on any attraction. It is so violent that the park currently will not allow anyone to experience the back 2 cars. Up front, the ride is tolerable, but it just doesn't have much airtime anymore. Number 14, Merlin's Mayhem at Dutch Wonderland. This looks like one of those Vekoma suspended coasters, but this is S&S's take on the genre. I love how minimalistic and freeing the restraints are, granting the sensation of flight. The layout is crazy, but the helix is good G's, and there are some nice visuals as you dive into a misty tunnel, pass over the sky ride, and whiz past fountains. And the park added some solid theming in the queue line, plus onboard audio, but the latter is a bit tricky to hear over the ride. Number 13, Tumbili at King's Dominion. This is the worst S&S free spin I've experienced. It does look cool how it was integrated into the jungle expedition area between its appearance and audio, but the ride was a letdown. I don't mind that it's a shorter model. My big issue is that the Raven turns are braked, and I got less flips than the other installations. I know some view that last part as a positive, but I want as many flips as possible on these rides. Number 12, Timberhawk Ride of Prey at Wild Waves. This wood coaster looks so much better than it actually is. The ride has decent stats and a nice setting against the woods, but it is a fairly tame ride. You only have a few airtime pops, but that first drop is genuinely good in the back row. It has some sweet airtime there. The ride does offer several spots of mild laterals though, and it tracks fairly well. Just know it's more like a family coaster. Number 11, Steel Hawg at Indiana Beach. The prototype S&S Loco has a lot of neat elements. It opened with a record-breaking beyond vertical drop at 111 degrees. While super steep, it is trimmed so it doesn't have the airtime you'd expect. It does have some zip at least. Then you have some interesting transitions. Some give a little airtime, others are outward banked, but the inversions are the highlights. Both offer fantastic hang time. Number 10, Falken at Faroop Summerland. This is the best wood coaster I've personally experienced from S&S. The airtime in the first half is spectacular. The first drop and camelbacks have very sustained floater airtime. There's some of the best sustained airtime moments on a traditional wood coaster. However, this ride is very bumpy. The trains absorb a lot of the blows, but it still can rough you up. Number 9. The Six Flags Free Spins. I'm grouping these together because they mostly ride the same. If you throw your weight into the flips, it's possible to get some incredible rotations. I can routinely get a half dozen flips in the ones at New England and Great Adventure, including some freaky ones on the Raven turns. I know the chaos of these rides is not for everyone, but I love their unpredictable nature. Number 8. El Loco at the Adventuredome. This takes everything the original El Loco does and improves upon it. You also have Beyond Vertical Drop here, but it's untrimmed so it offers wicked ejector airtime. The rest of the layout is similar with hang time on the inversions again standing out. But the big difference with this one is you have just a lap bar, so all those forces are accentuated. Number 7. Arashi at Nagashima Spa Land. What if I told you it was possible to get 12 to 16 flips on a free spin? Well, look no further than the installation in Japan. You know how those magnetic fins force a flip on the US versions? This one has way more magnetic fins along the track, so you just keep on flipping start to finish. It is an extremely intense and disorienting experience that left me cackling with joy. Number 6. Powder Keg at Silver Dollar City. This is a very underrated launch coaster built from the bones of a water coaster. The launch's stats don't jump out on paper, 0 to 53 miles per hour or 85 kilometers per hour in 2.8 seconds. But that compressed air launch has some serious kick to it. You then have a quirky layout. You have some giant camelbacks at the start with good sustained floater airtime, while also taking in a stunning mountain view. The end of the first half is strong and very sustained laterals on the old Buzzsaw Falls track. You then hit a lift hill. It does disrupt the pacing, but you have a fun finale. You have a solid and sizable drop, plus an intense helix with an airtime pop into it and good force on the turn. Number 5. Gale Force at Playland's Castaway Cove. This ranking represents how this coaster has run ever since 2018. Initially, the ride was a rattly mess. It was so bad that the entire ride was retracted after its first season. Now, it rides much better. The train still jerks at a few points, but it's overall a comfortable experience, albeit a very intense one. The swing launch sequence has okay power to it, but the main layout has some serious airtime. The first 3 hills all have powerful ejector airtime. I particularly love the first drop in the back row, and the kickflip accentuates that airtime with abrupt laterals. Then the valleys contrast those negative Gs with crushing positive Gs. And you now get 2 laps, so you get some serious bang for your buck. Number 4. Steel Curtain at Kennywood. This giant looper took the record for the most inversions on a coaster in North America, but it's a surprisingly varied ride. Some inversions offer hang time like the initial Dragonfire dive loop. Others offer inverted airtime like the 0G stall. Then many of them have good positive Gs going into and out of them. Then you have fluid and forceful transitions between elements, plus some airtime. It is easy to poke fun at this ride for its reliability issues and lengthy queue lines, but it's still a really good ride once you're on it. Number 3. Do-dodonpa at Fuji-Q Highland. This is the fastest accelerating coaster in the world. It blows every other coaster out of the water. You accelerate at double the rate of the second place coaster. It's unreal going from 0 to 112 miles per hour or 180 kilometers per hour in just 1.56 seconds. It feels like you're rammed by a truck and leave your body behind. Midway through the ride, you have a giant vertical loop chock full of hang time. But the rest of the ride is surprisingly boring for how fast it goes. There are no notable turns or airtime hills. You basically just ride this coaster for the launch, but it is a world-class element. Number 2. Maxx Force at Six Flags Great America. Speaking of the second fastest accelerating coaster, say hello to Maxx Force. This pneumatic launch propels you to 78 miles per hour or 125 kilometers per hour in 1.8 seconds. It feels like you instantaneously teleport to the end of the launch track. And unlike Do-dodonpa, there is not a windshield, so you feel the full force of that launch on your face. You then have a short but exciting layout. You have 5 satisfying inversions. The double inversions at the start and end have nice hang time. Then the high-speed barrel roll in the middle offers fantastic laterals. This ride is a rush. And coming in at number 1 is Eejanaika Fuji-Q Highland. This ride is pure mayhem. It takes everything X2 does, both good and bad, and amplifies that. Eejanaika is bigger, faster, and crazier. You have more inversions. Some of the most notable ones occur in the flip at the bottom of the first drop, and when your seats rotate during the negative G moments. This results in some frightening airtime because your entire lower body lifts into the air for seconds at a time. And this ride is better pacing than X2, as the far turnaround is fixed to have more speed and some seat flipping. The one downside with this coaster is that it runs even rougher than X2, so it can beat you up. Ride on an inside seat to mitigate this. I know this coaster isn't for everyone, but it's a must for adrenaline junkies. So those are my top 15 favorite coasters I've personally experienced from S&S. What are your thoughts on this company's coasters? Which one is your favorite? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this countdown, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.